what's next? So let's go to the conference itself. So as I mentioned, big at this conference was augmented reality. Augmented reality means I put some glasses on, and when I put those glasses on, I can see things in front of me like a virtual display that is interacting with my physical environment on the outside. So the big announcement there was the Magic Leap 2 AR glasses that everybody wanted to try. And so Rob and I got to try those. So I'll go to the next slide here and I'll just show you. This is from Magic Leap's promo video, and then a little bit of it is some of the stuff that we saw. So you can see here that you've got the glasses on. Now I can see this elephant kind of in my hand, so it superimposes it perfectly into my environment. And then this is a forest fire training app for those forest fire fighters. They can actually see the forest fire in front of them in a hologram and then plan out how they're going to attack putting out the fire. This really, really impressive. This one is where you can see, you're in a construction site and then you want to see what it's going to look like when it's done. So you can bring in the 3D model and then take a look around at what it's going to look like. And that company's called GeoPogo. They're from Windsor area. Really excellent software that's on the Magic Leap 2. And the interesting thing is, if you have glasses on and I have glasses on, we see the same thing. And that means we can interact with that holographic image right in front of us. The Magic Leap 2 was the most advanced system that we saw, but there's some lesser advanced ones that were very impressive. And this one here is called Tilt 5. So in the image right now, you can see that they're interacting with this square on the table. It's kind of like a tabletop game where you can interact with holographic digital images in front of you that you can see by wearing the glasses. So I'll just play that so you can see what that looks like.
Like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But now
That's a short learning curve.
Is she taking mine?
What's going on here in the game? What are they trying to do?
Fish the cars up, and then each platform.
Oh, they gotta collect cars? Okay. Fishing for cars.
Fishing for cars in New York.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
All right, and that game reminded me a lot of this one. I'm not sure if you remember this from Star Wars, but the Holo Chess game. I was kind of excited about that. Well, that is actually a reality, so you can get it for your VR headset or on a smartphone, so you can just actually play this kind of holographic tabletop game. Now, we saw some other AR glasses that are a little bit more sophisticated for engineering. So one thing you might want to do with AR is have your engineers or scientists or even your managers at a business have AR glasses that they can wander around the factory or your manufacturing plant, distribution plant, your office, and then superimpose in their glasses would be some technical data that would help them. So I'll show you just this one so you can see here
Think reality.
what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can move in and out.
What's
This moves. So.
This is pretty cool, Jamie. You're going to like this.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing we need for engineering design.
What I wanted to show you is Rob is holding in his hand an Xbox controller, and that Xbox controller allows him to control the image that's on the screen. He's got an engineering model, a fairly complicated object that was created in SolidWorks, and he can go into that object, he can enlarge it, he can move it right to his face, he can move it away, he can take pieces off of it, so you can kind of design in real time and you're seeing it on your glasses. The one thing about these Lenovo glasses is they have a wide field of view, because a lot of the AR glasses, they have to put a holographic display right in your lens. So it's limited into what they can do. So the goal is to try to have it as wide and big as possible so it feels like it's all around you. So that's an area of development that they're still working on. But you can see here that Rob is messing around with the 3D object.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna make
So you can get a sense of it in 3 dimensions and work with it using this controller. In the patent slide, you saw one big slice. It was around holographic technology. There's a lot going on in holographic technology. There's a couple of things that holograms right now do really well. Is if you're at one focal length, we can create a hologram there and you'll be able to see it, it'll look clear. But if you have holograms at different depth level, it doesn't work very well because it'll be in focus at one depth and not at another. So that's a technical problem that people are trying to solve at the moment. It's getting better. These are some frames. So this is just the frame sitting on the table. It's plugged into the wall. It's got some software in it to play a hologram. So I'll show you what these look like.
First time seeing what
Yes.
What do you think? Pretty cool.
Oh, it's really neat. Yeah.
Here, so this
I
one
can-
has portrait systems. This one is sort of like the most affordable one. It's $399. Works on your computer, run it standalone. Right now it's just connected to wall power, playing back stuff all by itself. I actually have this running on my desk all the time. Just you don't need to feed them. Well, so this one here is actually so you have just a leap motion up here.
Oh, wow.
The engine, turn it with the right hand, or the left hand.
Oh, that's cool.
Next right.
It's super cool just for the public, parents and students to play
Yeah.
somewhere.
What does a big one cost? 4,000.
What is the big screen cost? This one and this
So
one.
this one is 20,000.
Yeah.
And then the 4K here is 3,000.
3,000?
Yeah.
So this one is showing a mock-up of what a news studio would look like, where you have a newscaster on stage, you got the cameraman moving the camera around, and there's a hologram that's being superimposed over the image, and that the newscaster can interact with. So this could be an interview, but in this one, it's a fantasy character that she's got over there in the studio, super high res. You might have seen these on the news.
That's not a person in there. That is a holographic image.
Yeah, it's hard for the camera to
Wow.
capture it because it's so bright, but they look photorealistic inside that booth. This was kind of unnerving. There's a lion there. And this poor little dog
I think he thinks it's real.
thought that was real. And here you can see how it's done. So they have a guy on stage by a white screen, and he's being teleported into that holographic display so that you can actually see him over there. And that way you could, have somebody on the other side of the world appear like they're right in front of you. So the holograms were very impressive, the things that are going on, but lots of work being done there. So this was another area that is pretty interesting, because when you're in virtual reality, and if those of you who've tried Oculus Quest 2 or any of the other headsets, you have these controllers in your hand. And if you go and pick something up in that virtual world, you have to use the controller, push a button or pull a trigger and then pick something up. And it doesn't feel natural because you're picking something up in the weirdest way. It's almost like you're picking something up with a pair of pliers. And it's difficult to get that sense of actually touching things in the virtual environment. You feel like you're there, but the objects themselves don't feel natural. So this company here called Haptex has haptic gloves. And so I'll just play the video. It's a little longer so you can get a sense of what it might be like. And Rob describes how the technology works.
All right, we're at the haptics booth, and Jamie Dorn is donning the haptics equipment. So donning the suit is quite an experience. But it's pretty quick, it takes about a minute and a half. So Jamie is going into virtual reality right now, and he's going to be doing a room scale experience. So a series of different tactile experiences are programmed into this, so he feels like he's grabbing the part of this desk and elevating it. Clearly it's not 100% accurate, but if you spend a little more time calibrating the gloves, you can probably get a more accurate feel for that. And yeah, again, so he's picking up the coffee cup. You can see that's not calibrated perfectly. He was unable to grab it from the handle. Now he's doing some writing, so we'll see how accurate that is. Looks pretty good, actually. Oh. So grabbing something is probably the simplest form of haptics, giving you that tactile sensation. This cogwheel is a little bit different. So using the air compressor system in the gloves, you should be able to feel those, the outside part of that cogwheel. And again, there are these tiny little air sacs, if you will, that inflate and deflate to mimic the tactile sensation. Now he's going on to an airship. Bit of a steam pump experience here. I'm looking at his hand motions and I'm looking at what he's seeing in virtual reality, and it seems like a bit of an exaggerated motion, but it's still early days in haptics. And as I said, there's another iteration coming out next year, which should be lighter, less expensive, more robust. Right now, his hand is sitting under some drops of water, and you can actually feel drops of water on the palms of your hands using this air compression system, which is unique in the haptic glove industry. All right, Jamie, time's up, buddy. Let's go. Let's get out of the suit. My turn.
How's it feel, Rob?
Good.
Yeah?
I like the fit.
Are you petting the kitty?
I'm petting the kitty.
Oh, I forgot to. Okay, Rob, what did you think of that?
I thought that was incredibly interesting. It gets the wheels spinning. You start to think about the different kinds of applications. Yeah, and it's a short learning curve. You learn very quickly how to grab things, and it's very natural.
Because you know how already, right?
Yeah. But there is a bit of it, you have to adapt a little bit to the way you touch things, and a little bit with
But it's a short
more
learning
care.
curve,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
really, quite impressive.
Yeah, wild.
So when you're in the virtual space and when you're picking up the coffee cup, or when Rob's petting the cat, you actually feel on your fingertips that sense. So there are these small air sacs in the glove that inflate and deflate depending on what you touch. So if it's a rough surface, they could flutter, and that feels like roughness, and they can go in undulations, which kind of makes it feel like a smooth surface. And then there are tensor bands in the glove itself. So if you grab something, it will stop you from getting your fingers put together because it's around an object like a ball or the cup. So still a long way to go. The company has a new iteration of the technology coming out that's slicker gloves and less bulky, which is the way tech usually evolves. But very, very interesting and compelling.
Right.
So this one is another haptic technology I wanted to share with you. So this one's different. You'll get a sense of why it's different.
Jamie Doran and I are at the WeArt booth. This is an example of haptic gloves, which is untethered. It's made in Italy. It operates through Bluetooth, and Jamie's just about to give it a try.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, it feels like a rubber ball.
Exactly. Then you can go on the table and press the thing, or do the same. Yeah, sorry.
Over here?
Yeah, you can feel the rubber. The texture is a little bit of the material. Here we have 2D box, 2D shape like this white slice. Then use the boxes. The red box you just press. Okay, you hold it.
Oh yeah, that's getting hot. Woo! Ow! There's the call. We've got to cool them off now.
So this one we found really interesting in that you can get such an immersive feeling from only 3 sensors on your fingers. And the sense of temperature is really important for that tactile feel. Because when you pick something up, if I pick up my glass of water here, it's cold. I can feel the coldness and dampness of it. So if we can have that kind of sensation when you're in the immersive world, it will make you feel more and more like you're actually in a real space.